Hi. So today we're gonna have the second class in our course estimating and costing. So this is exercise the 3.23. As I told you, I just want you to follow up with me. Open your handbook, and we will see what we have here in this question. This is a repetitive question, but we want to solve it again here. It requires to calculate the price of 1 square meter of plastering of a brickwork wall of 600 square meter. So you are required, first of all, you have to listen, or you have to take care about the requirements of the questions, because so many students say after the long solution of the questions, they forget to what's the real requirement of the question itself. So they don't get the price, or the price of the 1 square meter of the plastering. They just calculate the components prices, and then afterwards nothing. They don't do the summation afterwards of if each component's price to get and then divided by how many square meters we have, then to get or to take out the square meters price of plastering. So be careful that this is the most important thing in the question. What does the question want? So he's asking you calculate the price of 1 square meter of plastering of a brick wall of 600 square meters. This is the total square meters of this job, or let's say this project. So what are the givens, or what are the data that we have in this question? Assuming the productivity is 20 square meter per day, so we have laborers are working in this project, and their productivity per day is 20 square meters. They finish 20 square meter per day. And who are those laborers? How many laborers do we have to get this much or to get this quantity of plastering per day? I mean 20 square meters per day. Who are they? How many laborers do we have to do this one, to get this kind of productivity? So he said that the question said that the labor required are 1 skilled, and which we call him, as we said, mason, and 3 unskilled helpers. Okay, so these are 4 laborers, 1 skilled and 3 unskilled. So on their monthly payment for the skilled laborer, which is the mason, mason salary, monthly salary is 180 riyals, and for the unskilled laborers is 120 riyals per month. Now take overheads. You can assume the overheads are 20% of the direct cost, and the profit as 15% of the total cost. Renting cost of scaffolding, you need the scaffolding for this job, and it is 10 riyals per day, and plastering in cement mortar ratio is 1:4 with 20 mm thickness of plastering. Okay, so what will we do now? First we have laborers, and we have materials, and then we have scaffolding, and we have materials. So all these things we need to calculate, then afterwards we do the summation of the prices of all these components. So first we have the labor, and let's calculate the laborer's cost. So we have for the laborers we have 180 first, and 180, which is the mason, plus 3 laborers or three helpers, each one of them 120 riyals. So the total will be 540 riyals I'm paying for the labor work, for this service, for these people who are working in this project. Monthly basis I'm paying 540 riyals as salaries for them. Okay, so I need to divide these by 30 days, which is the month days. The month consists of 30 days. We will assume that, because sometimes it's like in February it's like 28, 27, 29, and sometimes it's 20, 30, 31. So normally we take the month as a 30 days, so we will divide the 440 riyals by 30 days. So that means daily I'm paying 80 riyals per day. 80 riyals per day. Daily basis I'm paying the cost of laborers. The cost of laborers only. It is 18 18 riyals per day. In return, I'm paying this 18 riyals per day. They cost me 18 riyals per day. In return, they give me the output, okay? They give me 20 square meter. So the output of these labors, or the productivity we call it, okay, is 20 square meters. So how much do I pay for 20 square meters? If I'm paying daily basis 18 riyals, okay, and I want to, and I have the productivity per day, which is 20 per working day, which is 20 riyals. So we will have 18 divided by 20, it will be 0.9 riyals per square meter. Only laborers cost. So 18 riyals I'm paying for them daily, and in return they give me 20 square meter. That means 18 divided by 20, it will be 0.9 riyals per square meter that I'm paying for the labor work for this kind of job, which is plastering, for 1 square meter of plastering. This is the cost of labor, or let's say labor cost of 1 square meter of plastering. But I want to calculate other things, because there is a scaffolding also, and there is a material. So we have 600 square meters, the total project. The total job is 600 square meters. So when this job will stop? Because as we said, that there is some payments or costs are time related, and some costs are paid relative with time. So you just pay it one time, okay? For labor salaries, it's time related, because monthly basis you have to pay. And for the scaffolding, it's time related, because you're paying per day also. Okay, so I need to know how many days I'm working in this project, because how many months, for example, because these labors are taking like 18 riyals per day, as we said, 18 riyals per. How many days do I have in this project, and how many riyals I'm paying for this project as a whole, to know the total cost of this of 1 square meter, the total cost of the project, and then the cost of 1 square meter. So first, now I want to know how many days this work will take. So we have how many square meters? We have 600 square meters. Daily basis, I'm completing 20 square meters. That means I have to divide 600 square meter. I will divide it by 20 square meter per day. So 600 square meter. Each day I'm consuming, let's say, for example, or each day I'm taking, or each day I'm deducting 20 square meters. That means I need 30 working days to finish this job, to finish this project. That means I have to rent the scaffolding for 30 days. Then I'm having 10 riyals per day. Okay, so 10 riyals per day, sorry, into 30 days, it will be 300 riyals. The cost of so 10 riyals per day, and we have 30 days project, so it will be 300. So I'm paying 300 riyals for the rental of scaffolding for this job, for this project. So the cost now is 300 riyals, and at the same time, so by chance it was only 3 days, that means 1 month, so I'm paying also 540 riyals, not more than that, because the project will take 1 month. So I'm paying salaries of 1 month, which is 540 riyals. And honestly, if we want to be more accurate, these are 30 days, 30 working days. If they tell you, if the question tells you that the productivity are per working day, so if the question tells you that these 20 square meters are per working day, that means the 30 days that you'll get here are 30 working days, and you have to put these 30 working days into the calendar to get the calendar days, not working days. Because in this 30 days of working, that means it is not only 1 month, you maybe have like more than 4 to 5 holidays in between, so it will be like 34 days, calendar days. Now in this question he says that 20 square meter per day. So it depends on the information you get from the site or the calculation that you are using. If it's 20 square meters per working day, and mostly, as I have said before in the other classes, in the previous classes, mostly if you are talking to a mason or a skilled laborer himself, he will give you the number per working day, not according to the division of the productivity of 1 month into 30 days. It's not like the average of the productivity per day. The laborers, the masons, they are not talking this in this way. They tell you per working day, my productivity is like this much of square meters. Like I produce, I will give you like this. They talk to you. I will give you like 20 square meters per day, and he means per working day. That doesn't mean he's calculating them like Fridays, for example, in this calculation. So you have to take this into account when you are doing your calculation. So let's go ahead. Now we are having this one as a per day. It's not saying per working day, so it's making life easier. Now we have calculated the labor cost and the scaffolding cost. Now we go to the materials. Materials here, we have the plastering, and we have the area of the plastering, which is 600 meter, and we have the thickness. We can get the volume this way. So 600 into 0.02, it will be 120 cubic meter, in fact, and this is the weight volume of the plastering, and this will be it will be multiplied by 1.33, as we said before, and it will be 159.6 square meter, which is the dry volume. This is a dry volume. So let's go to the total parts. The same procedure that we are following. We have 1:4, so that means we have 1 plus 4 equals 5. So we have 5 parts. One of these parts is cement, and 4 parts of these five is sand. So cement, if we want to calculate the cement, and we said we know that the cement is also always calculated by number of bags, because it's sold like this. So 1/5 into the volume of the dry volume, we will get, let's do the math, into 1/5 will be 31.92. Let's see, into 159.6 equals 39. This is the volume. So this is cubic meter, volume of the cement. Volume of the cement, you need to divide it by 0.35035. 31.92 divided by 0.035 equals 912 bags. Okay, then we need to go for the sun. So we have this much of bags, and if you want to do the calculations for the price, for the cost itself, now no problem. Let's do it now. So we have 31 square meter. Okay, 31 square meter. We have changed this one, or converted this one into bags. Now 912 into 1.7. The price, yes, the price of one bag, it will be 1.7, 1,550.4 reals. Okay, so let's go out for this sand, and sand is 4/5 into 159.6, equals, let's check it, into 159.6, which will be 127.68. This is cubic meter, and the cubic meters, it will be the same cubic meter, no need for conversion. And into 1 square meter sand price is it's So if this one into 3, it will be 383.04 reals. So yeah, exactly. So we have this price, cement, and we have sand, and we have the 300 square meters, 300 reals for the scaffolding. So we will do the summation. We will add these all total cost for 600 square meter. So we will add this 1550.4. This is the cement, and 383.04. This is for the sand. This is cement. This is sand. Okay, and plus 300. This is the scaffolding, and 540 is scaffolding, and this is labor for 540. Whatever this the number, it will be divided for 1 square meter. For 1 square meter, we will divide this amount here by 600. We will get the how many reals per 1 square meter. Okay, so I hope you have understood this this question, and let's jump to the other question. Let's take a break, and I will show you one video here, and we'll go for the next question. Okay, so on this question, example 3, exercise 3.24, exactly the same question and the same number, and even also almost the same numbers. But the difference here we have is like one labor requires 1 skilled, 1 semi-skilled, and 1 unskilled. So different type of labors, and we can say that this different type of labors, it could be calculated like this. For example, if we want to have the labor amount, we have 180 plus 150 plus 120. So we have 3 labors already. So we just need to do the math, and we just add 180, 150 plus 120 equals 450 reals you're paying per month salaries for those people, for the guys, for this gang. And the productivity is also 20 square meter per day, and the project is like 450 square meters into 20. It will be 22.5 days, which will mean almost 23 days. This much of work. And also 450, if you want 450, you have to divide it by 20, because you have to divide it by 30 days. The 30 days, this is the period of the project. Okay, now the 450 reals per month I'm paying, I have to divide it by 30 days, as we said before, and this way I can get like how many reals I'm paying per day, the cost of these labors per day, and this way I can find like 15 reals per day, and 15 reals per day I'm paying for those people. That means 15 reals per day, and daily they give me 20 reals. And let's see how much it costs. That means it cost me 0.75 reals per square meter. This is the labor cost. And then afterwards we'll go for the scaffolding. And we said that the project is 10 reals per day, the higher rental cost per day. And how many days we said? We have 23 days, so 230 reals. The total payment for this job. So this job is 23 days. So 23 days I have to pay 230 reals for the scaffolding. And if I'm having like 450 reals, 450 reals per month I have to pay. So that means I'm paying for 15 reals per person per day for these laborers, and 15 reals for these persons. I'm having how many days? 15, sorry, that we can put this one here into 23 days. 15 riyals per day into 23 days. I'm paying, in this job, I'm paying 345 riyals for the laborers. So I'm paying for the laborers to 345 because they cost me per month 450 riyals. But I'm not using them for 1 month, I'm using them for only 23 days. So they cost me 345 riyals for the time period or for the duration of this project. And the scaffolding will cost me 230 riyals. So I got the cost of the laborers with this project duration, within this project duration, 230 riyals within this project duration, which is also 23 days. And then I'll go to the materials itself. And the materials, it's different here because the materials are no, it's not that it's not different. Sorry, the materials are the same exactly because even the ratio is 1:4, and everything is mentioned like previous 1.7 riyals for the cement and 1.3 riyals per ton. So it will be the same procedure. What the thing is that we have here, the difference, the only difference we have here is that assume that the visa cost for each laborer is 301 riyals. The visa issuance is 20 riyals, and the medical is 35 Omani riyals for 2 years. So I did not read the full question here, so this is why I'm doing this question according to the previous question. Now, if we do this question without this note, okay, this will be okay for the calculations, because in the previous questions when he gave us like 180 riyals per skilled and 120 riyals per unskilled, that means he's giving you the total salary for the laborers. Now here in this question, if it's like the previous question, I said the calculations for the laborers will be like that. But we have here like 180, 150, 120. This is the basic salary, as we call it, basic salary. And we want to calculate the real salary of these people. How many riyals really? Yes, I'm depositing 150 riyals per 150 riyals per unskilled or semi-skilled, sorry, and 180 riyals I'm paying for the skilled, which is a mason. I deposit in the bank account, in his bank account, or I issue a check for him monthly basis with 180 riyals. This is the basic if he doesn't have like overtime payments or bonuses or whatever. But in fact, he cost me more than that. According to the questions, he gave you these information. So let's do the math with the information that we have now in this question. So what's the difference here? He's saying that you are paying 180 riyals. This is the basic salary, and 150 riyals, okay, and 120 riyals. And he's saying 301, which is 301, okay. I'm paying for this laborer per day, per 2 years, for each 2 years. So for each 2 years, I'm paying this one. So that means it will be divided by 24 months. So let's do the math to see what does this mean. 301 divided by 24. It will be 12.542 per month, Omani riyals per month for each labor of these laborers, because they are all the same amount. So let's go back again for 20 riyals per issuance for his visa. It will cost me, and also 24 riyals because one time I'm doing it every 2 years. So let's see, 20 riyals into 24. It will be 0.833. Okay, 0.833. This is Omani riyals. Also per month, he cost me like this. And visa medical, if I'm doing medical check for him, it will be 35 riyals and 24, because one time I'm doing this one every 2 years. So let's say 335 divided by 24, it will be 1.458. Also on riyals per month. This is the cost. So let's calculate the cost of all of these things. 0.833 plus 12.542 it will be like 14.84. Okay, that means for the labor who receives 180 reals basic salary plus 14.840, and for the laborer who has basic salary 150, 14.840, and for the labor salary of 120 reals basic salary, it will be 14 also 0.840, and this will be whatever the calculation will be. These are the salaries of the laborers that really I'm paying for them, or really how much they cost me per month. We will do the summation here, and we will get their how many reals for these laborers I'm paying per month. Okay, so by doing the summation, by adding all these costs for one skilled, semi-skilled, unskilled, these real costs, okay, the actual cost I'm paying for them, not that the number I'm depositing in there or the check I issue for them at the end or the beginning of each month. No, this is the real or actual cost. How much they cost me, actually how much they cost me. So what I'll do, I will add these things to each other. I'll do the summation, okay, and by adding all these numbers to each other, I will get how much they cost me per month. Okay, in the previous question, like here in this solution, we have said they cost us 450. The same procedure we are following, just only this flip we have done because of the note at the end of this question. So this is for this question, and this is, I think this is enough for the questions of this part of our topic, which is topic number 2. Now we want to 2.7, and we want to go to the topic number 3.8, which is the depreciation cost of equipment. So let's see here. The depreciation is the loss in value of equipment resulting from the usage and age. So each equipment you have, if you are not hiring these equipments, if you are owning these equipments, there is something which is called the depreciation cost of equipment. That means you are losing some amount of money with regards to the time by owning these equipments. This is what we call depreciation. So the loss of value, the money, of equipment resulting from use and age. And even if you are not using this equipment, by age, it will lose money, it will lose the value. Okay? And by using also, this will multiply the depreciation or the losses of the value of this equipment. So the cost of equipment is sum of purchase price and the cost of transporting it to the purchaser, and the cost of unloading and assembling it as it is at its next destination. So if you want to know the cost of equipment, is the sum of purchase price, how much you buy it with, the price of purchase, and the cost of transporting to the purchaser. If you are buying, you are the buyer, so this is why you are transporting this one, so you have to add this amount. Also of transportation, the cost of loading and unloading, in fact, not unloading only. Maybe sometimes the seller, he will load it for you, and sometimes even the transportation will be by the seller. It depends on the conditions of the contract, of the selling contract or purchasing contract between the two parties. And unloading and assembling it in the destination if it needs assembling. So how much does it cost to assemble this equipment? You have also to calculate all these components together to get the real or actual cost of the equipment itself. Okay, this much it costed us. So the following are the methods used for calculating the depreciations. So we have number 1, 3.8.1, which is called the DBM, and the DBM is declining balance method. One of the methods that we are using to calculate the depreciation amount of the equipment. So by the way, you have like let's say like you have more complicated calculations when you're having your equipment, your own equipment, in order to know how much does it cost you per day when you want to make your bidding or quotation for any kind of project. You need to know how much does it cost you per day. Okay, exactly how much does it cost you per day. One of these things, like even the operator salary, you have to calculate the food, accommodation, and all these things for him. Diesel, petrol, or whatever the propelling system it works on. And the other thing is that the depreciation. All these complications, you will not find it when you hire the equipment. And one of the mistakes that some of the contractors that they do, as we said, that because they don't want to go through these calculations, or maybe they don't know it. So what do they assume? That this equipment that they own, they assume that it's just like or they consider it just like the rental equipment, which is wrong. When you want to like bid for something, you have and especially if you have like a hardcore competition between you and the other bidders, because for you as owner of equipment, it will not cost you, it will never ever cost you the same amount, the same daily cost like the one who is hiring this one. It should be cheaper, because you know the one who's hiring this one, he's paying also the profit for the hirer. So this is why, for the owner of that equipment, sorry. So this is why, if you want to have like a, let's say, competitive bid and to have competitive prices, owning the equipment itself is a positive point, and is a privilege for the company that owns this equipment. But most of the companies that I have seen in my practical life, they just like assume that they have rented this one, and they say, okay, this equipment, what is the market price for rental of it? This much. Okay, so it will cost us this much per day, and we will assume or consider that the price of this equipment is just like we are renting this one. So this way they are losing the privilege of owning or of having cheaper equipment in this project. Okay, so what's the DBM? As we said, declining balance method. In this method of determining the cost of depreciation, the estimated life of the equipment in years will give the average percentage of depreciation per year. So the equipment, it has a value, and it has useful time. It's not forever. It's not working forever. And the useful time is mentioned in the manual of the manufacturer. They say that this equipment will, if it works like how this much of hours per day, it will it will last for like 5 years, 6 years, whatever the case might be. And in this method, the percentage is average percent of depreciation per year we will get, and we will calculate a depreciation percentage amount per year. So we will say that each year this equipment is losing this much of money. Okay, and this percentage is doubled for the declining balance method, because it's called declining balance method. So once we say, like for example, it's losing 100 riyals per year in average, we will say that it's 200 riyals, for example. Okay, so the value of the depreciation during any given year is determined by multiplying the resulting percentage by the value of equipment at the beginning of that year, and we will see this one in this example. It will be double for the declining balance method. The value of the depreciation during any given year is determined by the multiplying the resulting percentage by the value of equipment at the beginning of that year, which is the book value, they call it, at the end of the year, the same as the beginning of that year, value of the equipment at the beginning of that year. While the estimated salvage value is not considered in determining the depreciation, salvage value means the value of the equipment at the end of its useful life. So maybe you will sell it like a piece of scrap, Someone will buy it from you as like he wants to buy the iron for recycling or something like that. Some people, they are recycling the equipment, or maybe they are using it for different or other uses. This is called the salvage value. Okay, so the value of the equipment at the end of its useful life, we call it salvage value. So the salvage value, it's also to be considered, but this, while the estimated salvage value is not to be considered in determining the depreciation. So until the end of the year, you will get your calculations until the end of the last year of the useful life of the equipment. The depreciation value is not permitted to drop below the reasonable salvage value. So it will drop the monthly yearly basis. Okay, it's dropping the quantity of the amount. It's depreciated. That means the amount is going down and down and down and down until it reaches to the last year of the useful life, and that amount, the amount or the cost or the price of that equipment, it shouldn't go less than the price of that equipment, which is called the salvage value. It shouldn't drop less than that. At that much, we will stop at that year, and that's it. And this will be more clear if we go for the example here. For the example here, we have this exercise 3.8.1. If the cost of the machine is 100,000 reals and the useful life is 5 years, so we have the cost of the machine, the cost of the machine, and we have the 5 years, and calculate the cost of depreciation by using decline balance method. So the question is asking you to use which method do you have to use to solve this question. So now it's asking you to use the DBM method to solve this question. And he's giving you the depreciation rate is 20% per year. So each year it depreciates 20%. So as we said, that this is the average, as we said here when we were explaining, we'll give the average percentage of depreciation. So 20%, like for example, 100 reals, so that means that it is 20, as I said, 20 reals, that means it is 20% of the equipment cost. So we'll leave this one as 20% as an average of depreciation every year, but we have to double this one because it's the method is decline balance method. So the declining balance method. So it will be double. And why double? This is the method. It doubles the average percentage of depreciation, which is fixed for each year. So it says 20%. That means it's 40%. We have to double this yearly depreciation percentage. So 20%, that means 40%. So we have to start to make this table. In the DBM, you do this table. So the date, which means the year, in fact, you can say the year, column number 1. This is the column of years. Cost of asset at the beginning of this year. Cost of asset or the equipment or the machine. Depreciation rate, this is the other column. And depreciation expense, which means that how much does this machine lose from its value in this year. And something which is A over D, which is accumulated over the accumulated cost or expenses over the depreciation, accumulated depreciation. That means I have to accumulate each year how much it does loss. So the next year, if I'm losing like 40,000 reals here, next year I'm using 24,000 reals. That means accumulated depreciation as well, it will be 64,000 reals. And BV at EOY. BV, which is called the book value at end of year. EOY means end of year. They call it the book value. The book value, some just like a terminology, and that says that this equipment at the end of the year on the book of accounting, it will be this much cost. The cost of that equipment at the end of the first year will be this much. At the end of the second year will be this much. We call it the book value. This is a terminology. So you have these columns, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns. Okay, so let's go ahead and solve this question. So the first year, the equipment is 100,000 riyals. It's given in the question. And they said that the depreciation rate will be doubled, and it's given in the question itself also, 20%. That means we are assuming that this, by studies, by informations, by manual of the machine, by, like, let's say, by our experience, opinion. So we have like 20%, then from this 20% we have to double this one because we are using the DBM method, and 40%, so 40% into 100, it will be 40,000 riyals, the depreciation expense. That means this equipment will lose in the first year 40,000 riyals. So the accumulated, no accumulation here, it will be the 40,000, and then 100 minus 40,000, that means that 60,000 riyal, that the book value at the end of the year of this equipment, because it was at the beginning of the year it was 100,000, and it lost 40,000 from its cost. Then now the cost is 60,000 only. So as we said, the book value at the end of the year, it is the same, the value of the equipment at the beginning of the year, the same thing. Okay, so 60,000 into 40%, it will be 24,000. 60,000 minus 24,000 will be 60. Before that, the accumulation will be like 40 plus 24. 40 plus 24 will be 64,000. This is accumulation. That means in the second year, I have lost from the cost of this equipment, I have lost 64,000 riyals out of 100 riyals at the end of the second year, which is too much, in fact. Okay, and that means that this equipment will cost only at the end of the second year 36 riyals. If I want to sell it now, the cost will be 36,000 riyals only. So at the end of the second year, I can sell this equipment at 36,000 riyals only. So, and from this DBM, we can know that the equipment or the machine in question is how much does it cost at the end of each year. So if I want to sell it at the end of year 2 or year 3 or year 4, I know how much does it cost, in fact, and what is the book value of that equipment, and so on and so forth. And the end of this fifth year, the equipment cost will be 7,776 riyals only. Before, from when we bought it, it was 100,000. Now it's only 7,776 riyals only, the cost of this equipment. Okay, so this is the cost of the equipment, and from this one you can see that the difference in you can conclude that the difference in depreciation expense is going down and down every year. So the first year you will lose the biggest amount of this equipment, which is 40,000 riyal, and the first year I have lost. But in the last year, which is the first year, I lost only 5,184 riyals. There is a big difference between 5,000 and 40,000. And this depends on the years of usage of the equipment. So the first years, we lose so much from the equipment's price in depreciation. And at the end of the year, last year of this useful life, we lose less than that. And you can see it's almost like 1:8. 1:8, the difference between this one. And you have to know that, like, for example, when you are buying a car, once you start this car, once you take this car take it out from the showroom, you lose so much money, and even if you didn't use it, okay. But then afterwards, so when you, like, for example, when you are buying a second-hand car, a used car, you will not lose this much like you are taking a car from the showroom itself. If you are taking a car from the showroom, you will lose so much, 8 times maybe, than taking the car in the middle, for example, in the middle of its useful life. Maybe because the car's also, the useful life of the car is more than 5 years. So let's go back to this graph, and we see this is the equipment value and this is the useful lifetime. And you can see it's dropping hard, steep drop in the equipment value at the first years. Okay, steep drop in the equipment value. Then afterwards, it's going to like take the average. It's going to be flattened a little bit. Then afterwards, until the end of the year, it will almost be like flat or plateau. Let's say almost it's like that. So it is a curve. Then I just wanted to take care of this graph and see the difference between this graph and the next graph. We will take it in the straight line method when we are talking about the straight line method. So in this graph, in the DBM, we see that the equipment is dropping steeply. It's just like a free drop, okay? Like it's dropping vertically. Steep drop in the first years of the equipment, then afterwards it will try to be flat. And if we go to the straight line method, you can see here a straight line method. In this method, see that this graph, we will explain this one. In this method, it is assumed that a unit of equipment will decrease in value from its original total cost at a uniform rate. It's yearly basis, annual basis, it will lose the same amount of money. We are assuming that it is losing the same amount of money. So it is assumed that a unit of equipment will decrease in value from its original total cost at a uniform rate. The depreciation rate may be expressed as a cost per unit of time. Okay, so each year it will lose this much, expressed as a cost per unit of time, or it may be expressed as a cost per unit of work produced. They relate this one not to the time, they relate it to the production of the equipment, like for example, brick machine. So brick machine, it depreciate according to the workable times. You know how much. Even in the manual they tell you that this machine, they're not saying the useful life of the machine according to the years, but they say, like for example, 1 million block, the useful life of this one. So as long as it is not working, so that means you are not using the useful life of this equipment. So the useful life of the equipment of like brick machine, it depends on how much bricks it produces. So they say that the useful life of this machine is 1 million block. 1 million block. So this method is, so whenever you consume this 1 million, or maybe within 1 year or 5 years, it doesn't matter. The number which matters is the 1 million, not the time. Then this method is most frequently chosen for assigning cost to an estimated owing to its simplicity and uniform distribution of cost throughout the useful life of equipment. They mostly use this one, not DPM, because this one is easy for calculation. As I told you a few minutes ago, that even this method, they are not using this one. They just consider that this equipment is hired. However, it's theirs, which is very. I think it's not like. It's not right to do it like this, to calculate like this. So uniform distribution of cost throughout the useful life of equipment. This useful life of equipment is usually given by the manufacturer in work hours, days, months, or years, or as we said that in productivity. If a salvage value is assumed for the equipment, the depreciated value is not permitted to drop below the salvage value. Again, the same thing. For example, if the manufacturer tells you that after the 1 million block production, the salvage value of this equipment will be for 1,000 riyal. So when you are doing the depreciation, according to this line also, the straight line method, it shouldn't be dropped less than the 1000 real. Until you reach to the 1000 real, which is the salvage value, that's it. So when you want to calculate the cost of the equipment at the end of its useful life, you will see the book value at the end of that year. Okay, then you have to calculate also the salvage value. You have to add the salvage value to this amount, and you get the total amount of this equipment or machine at the end of its useful life. So this is the value, this is the time, and it's dropping continuously. It's depreciating by a straight line, because why it looks like that? It looks like that because why it looks like uniform, like this straight line dropping with a straight line, because it is a simple way to consider that the machine or the equipment or the asset is depreciating uniformly during the time period or during the useful life of the equipment itself. Uniformly, it is uniformly depreciating. Okay, so we will reach up to here. We will stop to sum of the years digits method, the third method and the last one. We will stop out here. In the next class, inshallah, we'll take this method and we will take an exercise to solve these methods all together in one question. See you then, and thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next class.